Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast.
Can run it, girl, indeed I can run it. Hey, yeah. Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 138. Yeah. Keeping this rolling, man. Had to start it off with that vibe because I remember when that song came out. I mean, it's kind of crazy now, like, to see Chris Brown, like, in present day, but that was like his first song that he dropped, and I was such a huge fan of Scott Storch, who produced that song, and also like Juelz Santana at the time of Dipset, you know, with Cameron and all them. But I was just like, damn, this shit is fire. And it kind of came out like around the time of like Usher's Yeah and all that stuff, so it was like, you know, it kind of reminded me of that. I was like, damn, they're really into. That's when I started making club beats and stuff. I was always like popping bottles in the club, you know, you got friends and I got friends, you know, all that stuff. So
I looked up when that came out because I was like, what? I'm like I think it's early 2000s. Yeah, it was 2005 because I feel like I remember doing like a hip hop routine to it when I was like in dance class. Or we at least did Stuff Across the Floor to it because it was a great song to do that too.
He was like, I mean, he says he's only 16 in the song, so that's how old he was when it came out. So that's pretty crazy. But yo, what's going on, V? How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing differently than I was last week. I feel like last week we were feeling like the pressures and the craziness. Mm-hmm. Some of that has been relieved. I will say, you know, We have a new president-elect.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I might as well give a little round of applause. And we got a new guy. So that was pretty crazy over the last week. I mean, I was like golfing when I kind of heard the news of like, you know, I guess it's not. Is it like official yet? Like, I don't understand. What's going on?
So, I mean, it's been called. He's the president-elect. It's going to like the electors meet in December to kind of like finalize some of that stuff, but like for what, there's like nothing really that can be done legally, I don't think, for Joe Biden to not be president, because states that flipped, like Georgia, flipped blue, are out of like, I think there's going to be a recount here by hand, but even though technically I think they're a little bit outside of the recount range, but and I'm like, you know what, recount it. Do what you want. I'd love to see the same answer again. Yeah, so it was crazy here in Atlanta, especially because Georgia flipped from being a typically a Republican red state to being blue. So like in Midtown, which is like the main like LGBTQ kind of like progressive area of town, people were in the streets celebrating. I got lunch and and a drink or two with my friends Clarissa and Catherine, and we walked down the street to Piedmont Park to sit and drink some beers in the grass and just be like feeling everything. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I heard that a lot. I mean, everyone was saying the energy was pretty lit, so everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, for sure.
I mean, on top of everything, it's more of just like it's not an end, I guess you could say, but it's kind of just like the next chapter. Like we can kind of like move on from this stuff and focus on some other things that are also equally as important. But yeah, that's what's up. I just got back from Orlando. This kind of like ends my like 3 weeks of tripping for a while.
Tripping.
Yeah.
Oh, you be tripping.
Yeah, man, tripping. But yeah, I went to Orlando, visited my family, and it was really cool to see them. I haven't seen them in so long. My nephew, his birthday is 3 days after mine, so I celebrated my birthday down there with them. And on Sunday it was his birthday, so it was crazy. Like my sister, wants to throw a party. But it's COVID, so we did this like Zoom party, and it was actually pretty cool. She did this whole like escape room thing like online, where like they busted out
That's
into
so
different
fun.
groups, and then we busted back in. We just had some fun. The baby smashed cake. Like he had this really cute outfit where he was just wearing suspenders and no shirt and a bow tie, and just like it was hilarious. So
I love that.
yeah,
I love that.
I loved it because like it was like last time I saw him he was still a baby, so it was just like baby phase, but now he's like observing everything and like taking it all in, and then like copying and doing all that stuff. So it was like really cool to hang out with him, and they don't go out, so it's like I couldn't even go out when I'm there because of the baby and stuff. So essentially I just soaked all the time up with him as much as possible and them, and it was awesome. I really needed that like reset. So
That's awesome.
but I'm glad to be back in Atlanta, and I guess during that time, it's not like it's always go time. You kind of sit down sometimes and maybe turn on the TV. So Veronica, what are you watching these days?
I thought you'd be proud of me.
Okay.
I watched the SNL episode from this past weekend with Dave Chappelle.
You watched it live?
Huh?
You watched it live?
I did not watch it live. I watched it the next day.
Okay. Yeah. Same.
But I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and I think it was fun because like Dave Chappelle like broke the fourth wall a couple of times, and it was just like, I like Dave Chappelle's comedy, so it was a good time. And I just think I like kind of was like thinking, I was like, man, I want to know like how they were scrambling like on Saturday and stuff to like rewrite stuff or move shit around because of like what was happening.
Yeah, I know.
And
you're right. I thought of that exact same thing too. I think I forgot who I was talking to about it, but I was just like, just think about it. Like they planned all week for this thing. I wonder who they had planned as was it always Dave Chappelle? Like they threw Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I believe so.
Really? Oh, I guess they could have planned that. But regardless,
but like he was the perfect person to have, like it just like.
Right, and wasn't he? I think he did the episode after the last election. So, yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool episode. I like those like breaking the fourth wall things. Like like before the first skit, it was like he did this whole like introduction from like right where he did the monologue, and went right into this like Aunt Jemima, like Uncle Ben, in
hilarious.
The State Farm, or not the State Farm guy, what's the Progressive guy or whatever.
Allstate,
yeah.
Allstate.
That shit is so
you're
funny.
In good hands, yeah.
He had his voice all low and shit. I was cracking up, but and I think everyone was cracking up on the skits. So that's cool. I watched. I really wanted to watch This Is Us. I don't know why I didn't know it was back, but like there's like the 2-hour premiere, so I gotta watch that. But I did watch this movie called The Impossible. And I remember because I made this song called Impossible like a long time ago. And my friend was like, you got to see this movie, The Impossible. It's like from 2012, but Netflix just put it back and it's like number 2. You know how they have like the top 10 now, which is pretty cool because I'm like, all right, I'll watch that. It's number 2. So it was about like the tsunami that happened over like
that's right,
Asia and stuff like that. And it was just like this family. It was just like a pretty grueling like if you're like weak like I am watching movies of like what is it called, like cuts and blood and gory, yeah. Yeah, this is not the movie because I legit was cringing like the whole time. Like I imagine if I was watching it with like a girl or something like that, like what I'd be doing. Like
you would just be like this,
yeah,
like you'd be like
no, so
the fingers like
yeah.
So, yeah,
but I was by
don't love
myself
gory
underneath my
either.
cover, so yeah, but it was pretty crazy. So if you're looking for like a action like survival like family, like actually Tom Holland is in it as like a little kid and he kills it. He's
really?
Like, yeah, he's like the main. He kills it. It was a great performance, and I'm not surprised that he's at where he's at these days. So that's what's up. So yeah, that's what we've been watching. I guess we can get into, I don't know, quick hits.
I love how you always say like you don't know, like this was I don't know what we could be getting into. Maybe
I guess I wrote this stuff, but it just came to me and we just do it. So let's do this. What do we got for some quick hits?
Well, to start us off on a sad note, Alex Trebek, longtime host of Jeopardy, passed away this past weekend after his long battle with cancer, which I guess like it wasn't like sudden or surprising in that sense, but it's still sad because like I
The
feel
news
like
seemed abrupt. Like it seemed like
yeah.
like we've heard he's been sick and stuff, but you know, yeah, for sure.
Sad stuff, but I mean, I've seen there. I shared a like little photo to my Instagram story that had like him hosting like Up in Heaven, like a Jeopardy game with like RBG and
Kobe.
and Kobe and
third one.
and Chadwick Boseman, and I just
yeah.
like my heart.
Yeah,
But moving along, you put
did
this
you
one
see?
on
I
here.
guess he like also recorded like his last like the rest of the season for Jeopardy, so he's still gonna be like hosting the rest of the season, and he wanted that.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, yeah. So what's it called?
Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z. I mean, I just caught this. I didn't really get to see it, but apparently, like his Rock Nation just signed Christina Aguilera to a management deal. So
It's so interesting to me because, like, first of all, I didn't really know, like, Christina was coming back with, like, more and more music. And also, like, so now she's, like, in the ranks of, like, Meg Thee Stallion, DJ Khaled, all of these kinds of people.
Rihanna.
Like, it's just, yeah, Rihanna. It's
So-
just, like, it's interesting to me. I mean, like, obviously she's very talented.
Yeah.
I've always been a
incredible voice, you know,
Yeah.
you know, and just got soul. Like, I mean, she's probably one of the best voices, like, you know, of our, you know, time. Just and still like relevant, you know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just to see like where Britney Spears is and where like Christina Aguilera is right now, and those were like the two girls that were like
Yeah, they pitted them against each other.
not
Yeah.
necessarily pitted. I mean, the '90s were like that. If it was like you got Pepsi, you got Coke, like, you know, that was just the way it was. But you know, just to see, because they were very similar. Like they were just like pop, but like always she
They
had the
both
best
came
voice.
from Mickey Mouse Club. They
That's
were
true.
both blonde.
Yeah, so they've been friends, but yeah. Anyways, so that happened. I saw that Post Malone has had this crazy like Billboard Hot 100 streak. Like apparently he's been held a place on the Hot 100 for
Since 2017?
since January 2017. So that's like over like 150 weeks like on the charts.
That's nuts.
And if he had dropped a song like any time like in the last couple weeks or whatever like that, it probably would have kept going, like, you know.
Oh, for sure.
That shows you like, you know, what kind of artist that, like, you know, that's like some Drake stuff, you know.
That is some Drake stuff. And I just feel like he's definitely been like an artist of, you know, this recent generation that is kind of like similar to Drake, where like he has some of like the younger kids, like the Gen Z kids, really big fans of him. He's like created kind of different culture moments. Like he kind of helped spearhead like this whole like resurgence of Crocs and like stuff like that. It's just he's definitely got staying power.
And Bud Light. He's
And
holding
Bud
on to
Light.
the Bud Light.
And cigarettes.
Yeah. And face tats. So you got some more music news?
Yes, my girl JoJo.
Our girl
as we all
JoJo.
know.
Let's not play it like
Yes. All right. Well, you just know I'm a big simp for JoJo.
Yeah.
You're a big simp for JoJo.
Yeah.
We're all simps for
Talking
JoJo.
about people that are still relevant that you just didn't think would still be around, but she is.
JoJo, she dropped December Baby, which is a Christmas album. And you know what? This is my season. This is my friend group's season. Like my main friend group from college, we have like a group text that right now its name is JoJo Simp Nation, if that tells you anything about how much we love JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
So this was big news to us. And she joins the ranks of like some other big stars that are doing Christmas albums this year. So Dolly Parton, Tori Kelly, Carrie Underwood, Meghan Trainor, Annie Lennox. So like, honestly, it's like the people are like, we need some sort of joy. It's been a crazy tough year. Let's like round it out with some good Christmas music. And I'm ready because I'm sure her stuff's gonna be kind of like sensual and kind of like boppy. And I'm excited to like listen more to it. I'm kind of the ilk where it's a little too early for me to listen to Christmas music just yet.
But
as
it's
it is
JoJo.
only. But it is JoJo, so I'll have to fully give her my full attention probably within the week.
Hell yeah.
I'll cave. I'll do it for her.
What else we got?
Speaking of a good holiday season,
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Stewart is going to be in a new rom-com called The Happiest Season, and she is one half of a lesbian couple in it. It also stars Dan Levy, and who else is in it? Who is her partner in it? Mackenzie Davis. And, you know, I'm just excited because, like, I'm fully a sucker for, like, the Hallmarky, like, the Netflix, the whatever, like, the holiday rom-coms are fun for me. They are a nice, mind-numbing situation, and I'm happy to see one that isn't so heterosexual coming out and hitting my eyeballs for me to see a little bit more representation. Sure, they're both white still, but, you know, baby steps. We got to do baby steps for these rom-coms.
I feel you. Not the biggest Kristen Stewart fan, but Dan Levy, I can definitely see that. So that's funny. Okay, what else we got?
Yeah, Emma Roberts, which I feel like I posted this photo to my Instagram story. She is the first pregnant cover girl for Cosmopolitan, which nobody knows. Like, I feel like barely anybody knows that she's pregnant right now because she's kept it pretty low key. And honestly, like, she's probably one of the stars that, like, is making me feel old that she's pregnant, because, like, I grew up watching Unfabulous on Nickelodeon and things like that, and she's only, like, a couple years older than me, and I'm like, first of all, I just love the cover. It's beautifully done, but it's just, like, crazy to be like, oh, like, people that you grew up watching, like, in middle school and stuff are, like, fully having children, even though, like, I know people in my life who are, like, my age or around my age having children, but it feels like a different wave of, like, nostalgia.
I love Emma Roberts. Like, she
I
she
love
American
her too.
Horror Story. She did Scream, the fourth one.
Scream
and
Queens.
Then she did what else? I just watched a movie where she, like, dies in the beginning of it, which was crazy. Like, I was like, oh, Emma Roberts is in this, and then she just dies, like, in the beginning on some Scream shit, actually. Wow. But, like, Drew Barrymore. But we got anything else for quick hits?
Yeah, so this is, like, half yikesy, just half interesting. So Hillsong Church, which is, like, known as the big, you know, hypey mega church that Justin Bieber is a big goer. I think Catherine Schwarzenegger, Chris Pratt, all of them, like, it's very, like, you know, hyped up mega church stuff. Their pastors, I guess, technically, the Carl Lentz and his wife Laura, have both been fired from their jobs because of immoral behaviors, things like that. Right now, he admitted on his Instagram that he was unfaithful to his wife, which just makes it seem weird that she also has to take the fall with him and be fired. But it's interesting because, like, there's a lot of, like, kind of weird stuff within, like, Hillsong's past. Like, one of the founders who's, like, I think one of the founders, like, has had a lot of, like, sexual abuse allegations. There's been a lot of, like, wishy-washy stuff with, like, other behaviors that they have. Like, they're supposedly, like, big partiers and big, like, involved in a lot of, like, other kinds of, things that you wouldn't think would really be involved in, like, you know, sanctioned religion of this sort. So it's just an interesting little thing to see that, especially because, like, you know, he's been so hyped up by, like, Justin Bieber and the like. But
yeah, that's embarrassing. I mean, already enough, like, I don't know, the mega church thing is like, I don't mean to shit on church, but mega churches are, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, all the celebrities dump their money into this church. You got this celebrity, like, pastor that's just in it for, you know, the celebrity part of it. And you know, it's just kind of sad.
I've always kind of disliked mega churches in general, and, like, we both grew up in families with religion and, like, different religious things, and I grew up pretty Catholic and, you know, being involved in the church that way. But, like, mega churches have always, like, seemed iffy to me because it's like they feel so performative and they feel like we're being woke, but, like, not actually. It's very exclusive,
right?
And so it's very strange to me.
I kind of feel like that about, like, these big, like, non-denominational churches I've been to. Like, they're fun, they're nice and stuff like that, but it's hard for me to, like, really feel like this is, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just... I
totally get what you're saying. Yeah. I feel the same.
Yo, so besides that, what made you go yikes this week? I mean, besides a lot of things.
Well, first yikes is more of a funny yikes. So on, I think, Friday or Saturday, there was a tweet out by Trump or his team that got deleted about how he was going to be doing his press conference at the Four Seasons in Philadelphia. And then the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia fired back being like, this is not true. They're not coming here, blah, blah, blah. And then it ended up being that they did their press conference outside of the Four Seasons Total Landscaping in Philadelphia. Yes. Fully between a crematorium and a sex shop. Like, they plastered up a bunch of Trump signs on a garage door in the parking lot and did their press conference from there.
Why did this happen?
I just think it was a miscommunication with the team. The team was trying to play it off as if that was where they had always planned to be, which is there's no way. There's just no way that you always plan to be in this parking lot. There's just no way. But I have to give it to Four Seasons Total Landscaping. They're cashing in on their 15 minutes of fame, and they are selling merch that says, Make America Rake Again, Lawn and Order. They're fully they're making all this stuff. And I've literally gotten this close to buying some because I'm this is just funny. And I want to support this funny ass little local company.
Shit, though. Make America Rake Again.
Yeah, rake it up.
Yeah. Anything else make you go yikes?
Yeah, this election has definitely taken a lot of celebrities have taken up different mantles with educating people, doing whatever, or helping speak for different minority groups or just using their platforms in different ways. And Eva Longoria was on, I believe, MSNBC, kind of talking about how historic different elements of this election was, especially with the outpouring of support and flipping of states like Georgia and other places to being Democratic and whatever. And she, when they were talking about it, she's the women of color, showed up in big waves. You saw of course you see what the women in Georgia, the black women in Georgia did. But this is what she said. But Latino women are the real heroines. And that got everybody in a tizzy, rightfully so. And it kind of breaks down this bigger issue of how using the umbrella term of POC is more of a qualifier than a unifier, just because she used that moment to inherently put down the grassroots organization and things by mostly black women here in Georgia and other places across the United States to be all but Latino women, they really did it. They came out in droves and they outvoted all the Latina men and they did all of this, which some of that is true, but also you can't that's where it becomes dicey. It's we can't. Why are we putting each other against each other? Why isn't it why do we have to qualify what black women did?
Do you think Eva Longoria meant that though?
She
over
actively
black women?
apologized for it after, but I think it comes down to a bigger issue. And I've discussed with plenty of of people who are of who are Latino, Latinx, whatever. I've discussed with them and it's very similar to how that even just that term for Latinx people is almost too encompassing, because it even erases some indigenous Hispanic folks or different things like that. It's just it comes down to there is a lot more to it, and just kind of doing a broad brush in this kind of interview, which I think she fully apologized and said she was misspeaking and she was just more proud to see her people.
Right. I was gonna say because I watched it and I was gonna say because it sounds really bad, but to me it more looked like she was trying to represent for Latin women, just like a black woman would want to represent for black women, and that was definitely a terrible thing to say, the real heroines. What does that mean? If you're talking about women of color, coming out in groves, it's that's an all-encompassing thing. We're all the real heroines, right? So I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about, you know, women of color. But yeah, so that's kind of the way I saw it. I felt like I was gonna say before you said her apology, but that it sounded like she misspoke, because she was excited about it. Like, you know, she was just excited about like about repping. You know, she's you know, got a huge voice, so she goes hard. So when you're live like that, sometimes we've probably misspoken, you know.
Oh, for sure.
So,
plenty. Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely say yikes to that, but you know, I wouldn't burn her at the stake for it.
No, not at all. I just think it speaks to a larger issue of how, you know, there is still a very large anti-black, not saying that even Longoria was being anti-black in this, but I'm just saying there is kind of an ingrained bit to Latin culture and things like that to be racist and things like that. And like, I mean I know that's
pretty general. I mean, I do know that happens, like, because I'm Latin.
Yeah.
I've seen, you know, I've heard of it, but more of like in the past. Like, everyone's like more racist in the past, right? Or like at least
guess,
like
yeah.
they're more they're it's like more hush hush now, and you hear about all these things. But you know, I mean, I just say, like, you know, I don't think that was like her intent. I did see like the guys like post on that video that in the link that I saw, and you know, I really truly don't think, but that is an issue, but not like this with this situation, I don't think. All right, well, why don't we get into what happened on The Bachelorette this week? I mean, I felt like a lot happened. And
yeah, we have 2 episodes to cover this week,
I mean,
technically.
One thing that I can say about the show, that like all the guys said about her, was that it did feel refreshing. Like, she felt like, you know, it felt for the first time that she, like, we have a real bachelorette. Like, I can't really,
Amen.
I don't know what to say. Like, she's just like super genuine, and you know, and all the guys just were just like jaws dropped when she like came in the room. But why don't we start with like the beginning, and we'll go through it.
Yeah, let's start with, first of all, we have to recap quickly last week. So because last week's episode was on Thursday, we got to recap that quickly. So as we know, pretty much, you know, Chris Harrison tried to talk some sense and declared, trying to like make the season go on, but it was gone. That ship has sailed. And she, you know, broke up with everybody, boo-hooed about how hard that was. I don't think it was hard for her. She fully didn't care about any of them. And
I like, it's like funny because like I know girls that do that. Like, when they like somebody, they just don't give a shit about how they look or how they treat people. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they're just like, it's like, what? I mean, it's love. But yeah, no. So that happened. What else?
And then I think the part that I think was crazy is that they pushed the proposal. Like, I don't know why they forced a proposal to happen. Like, Dale and Claire only knew each other for 12 days.
Well, dude, she was acting that crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
if you're going to act like you're so in love with this guy like everyone else does at the end of this show, you're going to do this. This is like, we have to like do the Neil Lane thing. This is in the contract, bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like, because, you know, it was crazy. We'll talk about her more later on, but yeah, so the show picks up, you know, right where it kind of left off with, I guess, like introducing Taisha to the whole experience, and then to the guys, and she walks in, and the guys, you know, it's got to be a whirlwind of feelings for these guys, right?
For
like,
sure.
You know, it's just like, okay, like, how are we supposed to act? Because like, you were acting genuine before when this one girl wasn't even giving you attention. You were trying to be all like, you know, I'm this nice guy, I really like Claire, and then the second she's gone, you're like, all right, Taisha. So like, the guys have to tread carefully, you know, when it comes to you know, approaching her. But I feel like everyone did a really good job, like, essentially, you know, with her. I feel everyone was very excited to like talk to her and stuff, but
yeah, they definitely, like, compared to Claire, they jumped up, were ready to talk to her, were ready to get their time. I think they've been a little like PTSD of how they didn't get a lot of time with Claire and how she kept kind of blowing them off.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, to put them through the ringer even more, they bring in, you know, a new limo with 4 more guys, which really was just to round out the number, I think, to make it 20 guys for Tayshia.
Plus, they probably didn't have that many guys, judging by, just, they made it sound like it was packed full of like 10 more guys or something like that. I was like,
They really did. They made it seem like it was like multiple limos, and it was literally like, I think maybe one, because there was only 4. But
I mean, understandably so, you'd be like a little nerve wracked, but the guys shouldn't like, it's like 4 more guys. It's like you're already competing against 15 other guys. Like, it's kind of like a very petty thing. I get it when you're in that bubble, like you're just like, territorial and stuff like that. But yeah, the first guy that walks.
Like they felt like they were owed like more time or time first or whatever, which like I don't really think if that's exactly true, because it's like completely a fresh new slate. Like,
yeah, I mean,
just
you chose
because,
to stay
like,
here. This is now a brand new show. So
yeah,
the first guy that comes out the limo. Let's talk about him.
Spencer's a hottie, and he is, as you say, I think he's the new hottie. Like, I think he's the new hottie of the show.
Well, all right, before we go into Spencer, like, what do you think did they just like pull these guys out of nowhere, or like why wasn't these guys on the original show? Or
yeah, that's like what I don't really know, and that's like where it makes me think more and more that they already had like this contingency plan of Tayshia, like from the jump, like from during maybe the time when everybody was like not able to film, and they already were like, let's like, figure this out. But so I don't know if like they just casted like new guy, or like whenever they recasted, or like if they just brought them on, or if when they were initially casting, because this is what makes me think that like they kind of knew about Tayshia earlier on, because one of the guys that was on Claire, for the first weeks with Claire, Brendan, who has a date with, we'll get to it later, has a date with Tayshia, seems to be like almost like a perfect, like, he's a early in his life divorcee. She's an early divorcee. Like, it seems like a little too coincidental.
We'll talk
like,
about that more later on, because I
him.
definitely have some thoughts on that. But Spencer came out, caught her eye, and I mean, they definitely sent him out first. Like, that's like, a planned move. And then he goes in and he off the bat starts talking shit.
Yeah, he was like, so who was the one that pushed Claire away? Or what did he say? It was something to that degree, like, who was the one who made Claire go home? Or like something like that. And I was like, wow, damn, you're guns a-blazing.
Well,
guns
it seems like they got 2 villains that came out of that limo. The one with the huge family and a twin, who reminds me of like one of the actors from American Horror Story. Like, he looks like, I was like looking at him like, I've seen this guy before or something. He just has one of those faces where he's like a character already. But the one with the mustache.
Yeah, with the mustache. Yeah. What is his name?
I don't do names.
Noah.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so Spencer comes in. He doesn't really give much. I mean, I think he had the right energy. Like to bounce back with like 16 other guys, but
yeah,
I mean, what else could he have done? He could have tried to be really nice, and maybe they would have like taken him in or something like that. But he would have just been nice and then just like been awkward. So he came in talking shit. He wouldn't even tell him how many guys were coming out of limo. He's like, "You'll see, you'll see,
you'll see,
yeah.
You'll see."
Yeah. So but yeah. So what happens next?
Well, I think Tayshia spends her time with everybody, and she ends up giving her first impression rose to Spencer. But then she cancels the like rest of the rose ceremony, because she's just like, I don't feel like I don't like want to send anybody home. Like, I don't know anybody well enough, and I know like you guys have been through it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was honestly a smart move. I mean, I don't know if that was fully her decision. Probably wasn't. But
whatever they're doing, like, they're making like really good moves for her right now. Like, she's coming off great.
Yeah, like especially in comparison to Claire. Like, yeah, she's coming off as more of like the bachelorette for the people. She's very much so into
bachelorette for the people. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, I definitely see that. Like she's so good at like making everyone feel comfortable. Like she's like Claire was just confrontational, like, you know?
Well, yeah.
And so it's just like I've been seeing all the memes of like Claire watching this episode at home. Like she probably isn't watching it, but
she's too busy, like, you know.
No, she probably wants to ignore it because like she knows that it's gonna make her look bad. But if anything, so she can honestly be like, I swear on my dad's grave that I didn't watch it, so I don't know what anyone's saying about me. But yeah, you know, so, but
speaking of which,
yeah,
they cut in the middle of this episode to do kind of like an after the final rose situation, which like nobody asked for.
Yeah.
Especially because like nothing much came out of it because like Chris Harrison really kept pressing to be like, so did you really not talk on Instagram beforehand? Have you lied to everyone? And like that's when she pulls out the swear on my father's grave card. And she really, you could see the light draining from Dale's eyes throughout most of that whole thing because, like, you could see, like, he was like, oh, no, what have I signed up for? Like, this is more than just good Instagram content because she is, like, very, you know, they're like, what's next steps? It seems like they fully don't have, like, even, like, a next, like, couple of months planned. Like, they're fully just flying by the seat of their pants, but I mean, he is. And Claire fully is like, well, babies, like, whatever. And, like, you could see that he, like, completely jumped right over. That was
weird. Like, she was like, so what's next? Like, you know, it's like, babies or marriage? She's like, yeah, we'll get married first. And right when he said that, she was like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's
like, who gives a fuck? Like, whatever.
Oh, my
like,
God.
Stuff
And her
like
speech,
that.
her whole speech, like, it was essentially just like, well, what that speech looked like to me as a guy was like her talking about how great Dale was and how they're like meant to be and all this stuff. And when you just know, you know. And what is the?
It was all cliches.
Well,
it was
what's
just
the catchphrase
so many
that
cliches.
they're using for her? Like, what's her catchphrase?
Show up. He showed up.
Oh my God!
Up.
If I hear that one more time, and yeah, so she's like essentially what it for me, from my perspective, that whole thing was just like, Dale, if you ever leave me, you're gonna like look like an asshole speech. That's what it looked like.
Well, and it made it seem like she acted like she's never been engaged before, which like we're like, you fully have been
through
on
this
one
experience.
Of these shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she came off real like crazy to me. Like, it's just like, I mean, as crazy as it all did, Dale was as smooth as possible though. That guy's just smooth.
I mean, yeah, I feel like he kind of like just like kind of keeps quiet. Say he's like whatever, just kind of like slightly nods the head.
But when he does talk, it doesn't like really contradict a lot like what she's saying.
No.
Like it backs it up. So they're on the front, a good team at the moment. But it wasn't that great to watch. Like, it was just like, shut up. Like, I'm so sick of it.
It just showed, like, it still just shows how, like, insecure she is. Like, that this is all she cares about is, like, you know, making sure. Like, even, like, the way she held up her ring was, like, it felt very, like, 24-year-old on Instagram to me. Like, I'm marrying my best friend. It's like, this isn't like your first time. Like, this is not your first rodeo. Like, why are you acting like this is, I don't know. It's crazy to me. But we thank God. I got worried that was going to be the rest of the episode, but it wasn't. Yeah. And they went back to Tayshia, and she had a group date where the boys were playing this game called Splash Ball, which I don't even know if that's like a real game.
She really rocks that bathing suit. It's friggin' crazy.
Oh yeah. I love that they did like that scene of like that they used to tease a couple episodes back of like her getting out of the water, that was like her getting out of the water as the guys were walking up, and I was like, you slime minxes.
Yeah, this editing is crazy. I noticed that too. But all the guys were just like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, dude. I saw all of them. They're just like, what? And that's what I did too. And
and I would be lying if I didn't do it to you. Like, and indeed, all of our eyeballs were out of our sockets.
Yeah. Yeah, she's hot. So, anyways, they end up doing another like dodgeball game or basketball game or something like that. Like, how many
Splash ball, which is like basketball in the water, but kind of aggressive. Like, I don't know like what it really would be, but puts them in tiny little Speedos, which I'm like, why is this?
And this is where the serial killer in Spencer comes out. You saw that, right? It was a little scary.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little scary for even a guy. Like, I wouldn't even play. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to play you like this. This is too much. Luckily he was doing it against the dude that wants to kick his ass. So it was like,
yeah, Riley keeps calling him like bologna sandwich or like whatever.
Lunch meat.
Yeah, lunch meat.
Yeah.
Because like he bologna sandwich.
I think he did call him that. Like, he called him like something below bologna sandwich or something like that. But
yeah,
but yeah, anyways, like they got aggressive. It was kind of like weird to watch, and even she was like, yeah, you're going a little hard, like when he got his lip busted and stuff, which sucks because like this guy continued to play with his lip busted during COVID in a pool, and now he's like, exposing everyone. But
yeah, I don't know what their testing is like. I mean, I'm guessing they have to get tested all the time. I mean, they have to get tested to even get on.
I think they're just like in a bubble, so it's like once you get in, like you're just clear. But yeah, so what happens with that game?
The one of the teams wins, and then they get to have like a little barbecue on their own to have extra time, and then I think they all come back together later anyways. I mean, it feels like Tayshia is definitely like giving people more time, and I believe, does she give her rose to
Easy?
Yes, to Easy, because he opened up to her, which, I mean, that's good. I love Easy.
Did you see the connection between them?
I mean, what do you mean by that?
I didn't really see it between them. Like, I
guess that's what I was saying. I was like, is this a leading question? Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't really. It felt like he was more like, this is how I feel, and she's like, good for you. I'm happy you felt comfortable telling me that.
Yeah. I mean, he's just a safe bet to keep. Like, she's comfortable around him. Like it's like, all right, I got a friend here for another week or two. So yeah, they both get the roses during, like, while that's happening or something. Like the Spencer and what's the guy's name?
Riley.
Get into, like, they and another guy like approach him about being like a shithead or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, you're a dick. You kind of come off as a dick. He's like, I didn't know. And it's like, well, like,
I know, which is like such bullshit. Like, me?
Well, he's probably like that all the time, where like, I mean, he's like really smooth to Tayshia though. Like the way like it came, like when he went and talked to her and stuff, like afterwards, I was waiting for him to be like, yeah, they're all like talking shit and all that stuff. And he was just like, yeah, they're honestly, understandably jealous, but I don't care, So I thought that was pretty smooth. And she definitely has got eyes for him. So, how does this episode end?
So while this was happening at the group date, Jason, who like went on that weird therapy-ish date with Claire, is like having a full mental breakdown back at the house with the rest of the remaining guys, and makes his decision that he can't stay. Like, he isn't in it for Tayshia, still has feelings for Claire, which, like, woof. But and then he comes back and tells Tayshia his feelings, and that, which makes her doubt that. She's like, this is my biggest fear with the guys that were here for Claire, is that maybe like they really aren't here for me or whatever. And like I felt like he was nice and reassuring, being like, no, like, I can promise you that the rest of these guys are way more more excited to like be with you and like see you and like get to know you. He's like, I wish I could be there, but like I just am not, like, mentally I'm not there.
I actually think this is probably one of the most genuine guys like on the show, because like he came for love, and he's not like, yes, it's a short amount of time, but like he's not any crazier than Claire and Dale, I'll tell you what. And and he just like actually was one of the contestants that got time, like one-on-one time, where she actually gave him a chance during that time. So it was like, he's just being real. Like, he's just like, dude, I can't like fake this. Like, I can try, but my head's just not in this shit right now. And I think they're gonna bring him back for Bachelor in Paradise or whatever, because that guy,
sure,
is awesome.
I could totally see them doing that.
And I think the way he told her and stuff was like perfect. Like, I was just like, he was so nice. He smiled from the beginning, and I just thought it was just like, I mean, she was taking it a lot harder than, it's like, bitch, you got like 19 other guys over there, like chill the fuck out. Like this guy legit is like telling you like some honest things, like he's just not gonna waste your time, and this is what you want, like this is what you want to happen right now. So yeah, I thought he was pretty genuine. I do think you know, but I feel that once you like somebody, you like them. You can't help it.
Yeah, you can't force it. And then she had the last date of the episode was a one-on-one with Brendan, known as being the weird guy in the turtleneck under his suits. And they rode horses around the resort, and Chris Harrison
Why
made
is
sure
that
to
weird?
cock-block them.
The last wedding I went to, I wore a turtleneck. I don't understand why. That's weird.
It's not weird. I think it's a classy look. It's like a stylish look. I
But
think
I
it's
did
very
like
on
how
trend.
he was pretty smooth when he talked to her the first time and stuff. And do you think he got the first date because Chris Harrison interrupted their talk?
Maybe. I don't know, because then I think that was why it was funny that then like the recurring theme of their date was that Chris Harrison kept like popping up around every corner.
I love this scene because like first of all he was cock blocking. That was straight up what was happening, and
Hilarious.
it was hilarious. And the cut back scenes, like he kept talking about kissing her and stuff. Like I'm like, dude, this is not the time to kiss her. Wait for a little bit. But like he kept talking about it. He's like, yo, you know, Chris is cool and all, but I think he needs to give me a little space. Like, you know, so he's gonna have to give me some space. He's gonna need to chill. That shit was hilarious. So, it was just funny to see like Chris Harrison actually like acting in the show now. Like, you don't really see that from him too much. Like, maybe a little bit in Bachelor in Paradise, but it kind of has like that Bachelor in Paradise feel with it being at this like hotel, you know,
resort. Yeah.
So, and just the
For
craziness of it all. So he's like hopping on a scooter and just like, you know, going from place to place. That was hilarious.
It was funny.
So yeah, that happens, and you know, they have the dinner, and that's where they really connect, and their stories like matched up. Where he, you know, was married, and his story like was, he said it like these guys are really good at talking. Like these guys are killing
I agree.
it. It's a shame that like Claire is just crazy, batshit crazy, that these guys like didn't get to even shine like for the first couple episodes, because you know the way he explained that shit, it was just so it was just
Eloquent.
great. Yeah, it was eloquent, and like it just, and I was just like, damn, like, and he just like struck a chord with her, and that was like a moment where, you know, they ended up doing the fireworks, and he got the rose, and it was pretty dope to see, and it was just like a nice like ending to an episode of The Bachelorette, and I'm excited to see more. You know, do you have any thoughts on the episode or what's to come?
Well, I feel like so Brendan, who's the one with that last date, he's going to be a front runner. It seemed like something we didn't really mention. It seemed like Zach, G or whatever his last initial is, I don't know. He's like one of the older guys. He seems like he's going to be a front runner. He was kind of cheesy, but she seemed to like it. And I feel like
you're
she
talking
likes
about the 39-year-old guy or 36-year-old guy?
Yeah, the 36-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like him.
She
I
loves
like him.
cheesy white dudes. Think about how when she was with John Paul Jones, she loves a cheesy white dude.
Right. But
so,
that guy, I don't think that guy was cheesy. That guy was actually smooth as hell too. Like I was impressed by all these guys. Like, I mean, like for honest look wise, like I was like, nah, he's not gonna make it. But then he started spitting game and he did that quarter thing. I was like, damn, dude, like that quarter thing was boss. Like I hope
let's make some
I hope
wishes.
like the
that was
next
good.
girl like, you know, I talked to hasn't seen this episode, so I can be like, yo, let's flip this
Let's
quarter.
go make some wishes, baby.
Yeah. You know, that shit was smooth. So yeah, and you know, they showed some highlights of the season coming up. What did you get out of that?
I sort of wonder, like, one of the things that stuck out to me was like her, you know, bending down, being like, this is like, I can't do this anymore or whatever, like saying, like crying, saying that. And I'm kind of like, when does that come in? Is that coming in towards the end? Like, when is that gonna, like, what is she gonna be referring to?
Well,
I'm trying to think of like,
I have some tea that I got from fellow compadre Tristan. He's been on the show, and he does an incredible like IG live just like you of the show. You guys are super in, like, I legit, like, even if I like watch it later, I like watch along with the show as you guys are doing it, so it's like I'm doing it live. Like, but I got some tea from his story today, where apparently some girl like noticed that line at the end where it was he was like, there was like a line that was like slipped in at that little like reel, and it was like, what did it say? It said, she's gonna know she's something like she's gonna know the truth or something like that. But like the girl,
shit.
yeah, like the girl, she's got to know the truth or something like that. And then the girl figured out like because the captions were on and they had the guy's name, and then she looked up the name. And
Ooh, that closed captioning. Let's go,
dude. The closed captioning. She looked up the name and it was Taisha's ex-husband.
Okay, see, that's what I thought. I thought I saw like the ex-husband or something like pop up, or like somebody from her family or something. Like I feel like there's gonna be some drama because like so her ex like cheated on her or whatever. So I'm sure there's gonna be some drama along those lines, especially with her family, with whatever. I think there's a lot of trust and stuff there that might be coming into question.
Wow. So yeah, you heard it here first.
Damn.
Well, you know, I'm looking forward to this. You know, a lot more.
Me too. I'm
Claire
excited.
Sucked, man. It sucked. And this is.
I know. I've seen the memes that are like we've had a more peaceful transition of bachelorettes than like of our presidents, and I laugh because it's not wrong. And honestly, like this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. We wanted this new bachelorette. She's ready. She's playing the game more, but like in it.
Do you think Claire's going to be one of the most hated bachelorettes? Like, do you think she's going to be just as hated as Juan Pablo, which is like ironic?
Which is ironic. Potentially. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the episode, guys. I guess we can get into. Do we have any other?
Yeah, there's a couple other quick bachelor updates.
Okay.
Crystal, and her boyfriend of I don't even know how long because I feel like her and Goose haven't been, broken up for that long. But her and her boyfriend Miles Bowles are expecting a child together. So wait, her and Bowles made their relationship Instagram official in October. Only 8 months after former ABC personality split from her husband of nearly 8 months. Wow, 8 months. Chris Randone. So she literally has only been, who knows how long she was with him before they made it official. But, like, it can't be long.
No, Crystal's Claire crazy.
Yeah,
Crystal's Claire crazy. What else we got?
And then Derek Peth, who was also, Bachelor in Paradise alum. He had been engaged to briefly to Taylor from Bachelor in Paradise. He is engaged to his model girlfriend, well, I guess now fiance, Saffron Vader. And so I think that's also interesting. I didn't even know he was dating somebody else. So
yeah, I mean, last time I saw him, he got his heart broke by
Tasha, technically.
By Tasha, yeah, that's right. Yeah, interesting.
Wait a second.
Bookend it.
All comes back.
Yep, full circle. Well, let's get into our slapper of the week. This song is not like exactly brand new, but it's the newest one from Jack Harlow. It's called Tyler Herro, who is a basketball player for the Miami Heat. And look at me go with sports ball. And apparently, Tyler Herro was like I think he was like drafted to the Miami Heat after just 1 year in college basketball or something. So it was pretty crazy. But this song is just got the best beat. And Jack Harlow just has the best flows, and I just feel like these songs just make me like it's like I drove and I listened to this song over and over again. So I'm gonna make you guys listen.
That's one of your. So that's how you know. That's how you know.
When I drive and I keep listening, it's got to be a slapper. So without further ado, slapper of the week, Tyler Herro by Jack Harlow. Let's get it.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Slapper. Tyler Herro, Jack Harlow. Slapper.
Love it.
5 white boys, but they're not in sync.
But they're not in sync. Actually, compadre and former guest of our show, MC Strollo, he was in the music video.
Yeah, I know. That shit is crazy, dude. We gotta get him back on the show to hear about that. That story. We should have brought him on today, actually, to talk about that. But regardless, that's really cool. V, do you have any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I've got some birthday roundups. I didn't realize how many Scorpios I had in my life, but I have a decent amount.
Yes, you do.
So I know you're my number one.
Thank you, boo.
But I wanted to do a little quick Scorpio birthday roundup for my friends Francie, Carl, Madeline, and then obviously our friend Ray for their birthdays this past week.
Yo, happy birthday, guys. I love you, Ray. Yeah, so, I mean, this last week I spent it with my family, and I just want to shout them out. Thank you, guys. I had a great time, and I love you so much. Thanks for everything.
And then I just wanted to do a quick, we're recording right now on Veterans Day. So quick Veterans Day shout out to anybody I know. Technically one of our other guests, Chef John Mark, he's a veteran. Yep. So we've got some veterans in our audience, I'm sure.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, that's been our show. You know, I'm glad to be back here in Atlanta. I'm looking forward to, some good times ahead in these cold, dark nights. You feeling that? Like late these days, it's like dark and slow out there.
Because of daylight savings, I feel like an old person because like once it hits like 5 p.m. or so, I'm like I gotta eat dinner. Like
right.
I'm hungry.
And I gotta go to sleep.
It's dark.
Why am I still working? It's
literally same. I'm always like I like look out the window and I'm like it's all gone. It's all dark now.
Right. All that beauty. Well, what are you doing this weekend? I miss you. We should hang out or do something.
We could. I'm like looking. I think I don't really have any major plans for this weekend. I think I might be catching up with my friend Katie, but besides that,
let's do
I don't
something
know.
Friday or something.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we have some stories for next week for you.
So we have some stories, he says. Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, if you could only hear, we're going to have to start like a Patreon or something, and OnlyFans for like the actual stories. Because things get crazy.
Yeah,
sometimes.
because even something funny happened last night. I don't know if we want to talk about it really quick, or if that's a secret.
Well, okay, we could talk about it like a little bit, but I want to talk about it with you more after the show. I was going to ask you before the show, but I just wanted but anyways, yeah, what was that?
What was that?
Well, actually, I'll say it. I got a text from one of our podcast guests that's been on the show, and we're not naming names, right? We won't name names.
Sure. I mean, it's up to you.
All right. And let's just say he's been on the show, and he texts me. He's like, "Do you know this person?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, she's my friend. One of my I know her really well." And
okay.
And so but I'm not I'm very not trying to get in the way of anything these days. I don't want anything I say to change anybody's thought of anything. I was just like, yeah, she's beautiful, she's great. So yeah, good luck. And
because this former guest of ours had matched with her on a dating app.
Yeah. So essentially, I knew that was coming, but even that, I didn't want to hit up. Oh, I'll beep that out. But I didn't want to tell her yet because essentially, I didn't want to get in the way. So he texted me, being like, yo. So he sends me the screenshot, and she ends up bailing on the date or something like that to watch The Bachelorette. But I guess he got to her late, later on in the day with plans and she just kind of felt like, oh, well, I already had these. So miscommunication happening with that, but it's just a really small world. You noted the time for when I said her name, right? It's not that big of a deal, but I just feel like, it's just funny. Anyways, guys, we got to get out of here because speaking of food earlier, I am actually hungry. So, V, it's been fun, episode 138 with you.
I know. We're just cranking them out, these days. We're just cranking them.
We're going to be at 150 in no time. That's going to be crazy.
That's nuts.
Nutty. All right, guys. Well, we love you. This has been Future Bachelor. My name is Cy.
I'm Veronica.
And we'll see you next week. All right? Deuces.
Bye.
Future Bachelor Podcast.